In computer programming, whitespace is any character or series of characters that represent horizontal or vertical space in the code's typography. In today's video, I'm going to cover how Google approaches whitespace when working with JavaScript. What I show here is taken from the JavaScript guidelines, which is publicly available. I am leaving links on the video description for further reading. Let's start reviewing the vertical whitespace. Vertical whitespace refers to typing enter on the text editor, thus creating a new line in the code sequence. A single blank line appears to separate public and private methods of a class or literal object, to generate logical groups of internal properties of a class or object, within a method or function to create a logical group of execution, and also to include a new optional line before the first method or after the last method of a class or literal object. Horizontal whitespace refers to the spaces within a line. It usually implies typing the spacebar or the tab key. There are three main categories. Leading spaces, also known as indentation, refers to the whitespace placed at the beginning of a line. Following Google's guidelines, indentation is done by adding 2 spaces per every new line. The creation of a new block adds +2 spacing until it is closed. Trailing spacing refers to the space left at the end of a line. This type of whitespace is forbidden. Finally, you have the internal whitespaces, which are those that occur in the middle of a line. Google's policy is to only use these whitespaces in the following cases: to separate a reserved word like if, for, or catch from the opening parentheses. You should note that there's an exception for function or super which do not have whitespace. The same policy applies for the closing parentheses as well. A whitespace should also be placed before any curly brace, with just 2 exceptions: when an object literal or array literal is passed as first argument of a function call, and when using JavaScript template literals. Whitespace should also be used before and after any binary or ternary operator. Also place a whitespace after a comma, a semicolon, and a colon. If your code has inline comments, place a whitespace before and after the double slash or block comment. Horizontal alignment is also a common practice in software development. It consists of adding a set of whitespaces in order to visually align the values of a set of variables, one right on top of the other. This is generally discouraged by Google style. It does help readability, but it adds a complexity in the future updates. If new values are added, a coder needs to manually rewrite the formatting, thus adding changes on the version control. To avoid pointless busywork, it is recommended to use a single whitespace in these cases. The last section we will see today are the whitespaces in function arguments. Sometimes your code may have multiple function arguments that can't fit on a single line. Here are some common patterns for argument grabbing. Since I discovered these guides, I am trying to follow them, and my code surely looks cleaner. Do you follow any guidelines for implementing whitespaces? I would like to end the video with an unrelated clip from a video game developed by Scott Miller. It is purely built using Unicode whitespaces, and it proves that it can be an art. Isn't it awesome?